No.
Okay, I'd like to welcome you all to the March 24th, 2021 regular town board meeting of for the town of Cicero. For those of you who are in the room, please note the exits in the unlikely event that you need them in the case of emergency. I'd like to announce who is here in the room with us this evening. Mike Bacallo, Judy Boyke, Gretchen Johans, Tracy Kaufman, Gretchen Walter, Wayne Freeman. Virtually, we have Jonathan Karp, Nancy White, Steve Procopio, Steve Rotuno, Robert Germain, Chris Woznicka, Nicole Walsh, Kate Fiorillo, Mike Merzio, and Teresa Roth. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Blakey. Here. Counselor Carr.
Here.
Counselor White. Counselor White.
You're muted, Ms. White.
I hear, but I don't hear. You muted?
Okay, there we go. Here, sorry.
Counselor Bacallo.
Here.
Supervisor Meyer.
Here. First item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance by Clerk Councilman.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance
The flag
to
of
the
the
United
States
States
of
of
America
And
and
to
to
the
the
republic for
which
which it
stands
stands
one
one nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty and justice for all.
justice for all. At this time, I would like to take a moment of silence for those facing health issues, healthcare workers, and first responders. My positive thoughts are with everyone to be as healthy and happy as they can during these challenging times. Also, the month of March is Women's History Month. We commemorate women's vital role in American history. Thank you.
Before we get into the regular agenda, I'd like to make sure that all of you, if you did not happen to see it, go to Syracuse.com on today's edition, and you'll see an article about our town clerk, Tracy Kaufman. She's being recognized not just by the people here in Cicero, but the entire community, and frankly, for the state of New York. She's been designated a registered municipal clerk, and before the meeting, I had the honor of presenting Tracy that certificate, and I think it's a well-deserved honor. And if you would please give her a nice round of hand.
Thank you.
And we also have our Officer of the Year coming up here, Wayne Freeman. So Wayne, congratulations, and please give Wayne a big hand. Well-deserved recognition for both these individuals. Next item on the agenda, number 2, abstracts. Nancy?
Approval of abstracts. Resolved, the Cicero Town Board approves abstract numbers 10 dated March 10th, 2021, and 11 dated March 17th, 2021.
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Bacallo. Discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Blakey. Yes. Counselor Carr.
Yes.
Counselor White.
Yes.
Counselor Bacallo.
Aye.
Supervisor Meyer.
Yes. Item is adopted. Thank you. Next item, please, if the clerk will note the time, is continuation of the public hearing on the Horner Farmstead. Mike, I think you have an item. Did you want to introduce? Okay.
All right, this is public input from Justin Fry. Town
Mike, you're
board.
muted.
I'm writing you today. Can you not hear me?
No.
It's weird, I can.
Microphone in here.
You're good now.
Okay, cool. I'll start over. So this is from Justin Fry, Councilor Bacallo and Town Board. I'm writing you today to express my concern for the proposed housing track at the Horner property on Lake Shore Road. As a lifelong resident of Brewerton, Cicero, I have some concerns regarding the proposed housing tract. I want to start off by stating that I am not against the proposed housing tract, and I encourage growth within the town. I commend both the Horner family and the town board for closely examining many facets of the proposal. As it would sound to be a broken record, but traffic is obviously a massive concern for many people. I want to offer perspective from a different avenue of thought rather than just X more cars at Y time, etc. I have concerns that this, along with other projects the town has gotten into, a lull of kicking the bucket down the road in terms of traffic. And by that, I mean that the town is creating problems where it does not have to solve them. So the town can approve a Starbucks in traffic that spills out onto Route 11, State Road, state problem. Proposed developments off of Lake Shore that spill onto Route 31, 81 corridor, state roads, state problems. But it is the citizens of Cicero that pay the price for, overburdened and overcrowded roads. To my different perspective, as a first responder in the town of Cicero, I want to make it clear that I'm speaking on my experiences as a member of a first responder. The traffic study clearly spoke on terms of accidents on Lake Shore Road from Mud Mill and Route 31. The traffic impact studies that I have listened to from the various meetings seem to fail to recognize or put into scope issues on Route 31 in that same time frame, the same area that the traffic from this development would be spilling out onto, such as Route 31 at Lake Shore Spur, Lake Shore Road, Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's Outlet, Park and Ride, Route 81, and the off-ramps, Crabtree Lane, Route 11. Many citizens have seen the wall-to-wall 5-lane traffic on Route 31 and have had to wait to get through, adding maybe a few seconds or minutes to their travel. Not that terrible of a deal, though. I would wager how many of those citizens have had to try to get through with a Ford F-350 going to someone who is in possible cardiac arrest. How about a 30-foot engine to clear a car accident? What about a 45-foot ladder truck to a reported structure fire? I ask the town board and planning board that those who both oppose and support this project to consider the ramifications of adding more traffic to an area that has 5 lanes wide traffic and nowhere for cars to go when a first responder is responding to an emergency. I have seen it firsthand, and no amount of lights or sirens will help you get through, even if citizens who want to let you through have absolutely nowhere to go. I, of course, hope this happens to no one, and I hope I never have to fight this traffic again, driving through lights and sirens to an emergency. But accidents happen, and getting stuck in traffic will happen again. Please consider this additional point of view into the matter. Thank you for your time, Justin Fry.
Okay, I have no more emails to enter, and there are no scheduled speakers. I think we've covered this point rather thoroughly. That being said, I'm going to close the public hearing. I'd like to remind all the board members and the public that if you have additional points that you'd like to give to the board or give to the planning board, please feel free to give them either to us or to the planning board. That being said, we'll move on to the next item, number 4, New York State DOT informational. A number of months ago, I brought to the board a memorializing resolution to ask the state of New York DOT to take a look at, in particular, speed limit signs and regulation signs, so forth on Route 31. I'm happy to announce that I got a response from the state DOT. And so they do listen when we can give them some concrete items to examine. The second thing I'd like to point out is for those of you who travel Route 31 on a daily basis, like I do, please pay attention because those signs are going to be changing. I don't want you to be in automatic speed mode and then have the speed limits change and surprise you. So again, thank you to the state of New York and to the residents. Please make note of the new signs that are going up on Route 31. Next item on the agenda, number 5, adopting the town of Cicero's public employer mandatory health emergency plan. Whereas the state of New York requires public employers to create plans to protect employees and contractors in the event of another public health emergency declared in New York State. Now therefore be resolved that the draft health emergency plan is adopted and shall be included in the town of Cicero employee handbook. And be it further resolved that the health emergency plan shall be available for inspection in the town hall. In a second.
Second.
Okay, this is an item that was directed by executive order from the governor. It is intended to be a living document and that it's set up for renewals. And so I've requested that the safety committee put this on their agenda so that it's set up for a review sometime over the next 12 months. Discussion on number 5. Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Boyke,
Yes.
Counselor Cart,
Yes.
Counselor White,
yes,
Counselor Bacallo,
Aye.
Supervisor Meyer.
Yes, item is adopted. Thank you. Nancy, number 6.
approve to order the 2022 Western Star 10-wheeler with dump body, plow equipment, and extended warranty. Whereas the Highway Department needs to order a 2022 Western Star 10-wheeler with dump body and plow equipment. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board approves ordering and purchase of a 2022 Western Star 10-wheeler with dump body and plow equipment with a 5/7-year extended warranty from Tracy Road Equipment, county contract number 8996, in the amount of $125,000, reserve budget code DB 51422R, a 2-year budgeted item.
Second.
Second, Ms. Boyke. Discussion on number 6.
Uh,
Clerk will call the
Mr.
roll. Did I hear somebody?
Yeah, Mr. Woznicka, the 5/7 year warranty, is that, I mean, in consumer terms, bumper to bumper and powertrain? I mean,
It covers wiring, covers the entire truck.
right, but what's the 5/7, I guess is my question. I assume that there's more extensive coverage for 5 years than more limited coverage for 7.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Further discussion on the item? Hearing none, clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Boyke,
Yes.
Counselor Cart,
Yes.
Counselor White,
Yes,
Bacallo,
Aye.
Supervisor Meyer.
Yes, item is adopted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Nancy?
approve property maintenance at 6658 Route 31. Whereas the Highway Department is in need of property maintenance, mowing, weed eating, etc., at its property at 6658 Route 31. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board approves AAA quick plows and lawns, lowest quote, at the weekly price of $175.10 for approximately 29 weeks, budget code DB 51324. Other quotes, Hummer Lawn and Snow, $200 per week, C. Mattis Inc., $275 a week, and Custom Lawnscapes Inc., $280 a week.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bacallo. Discussion on the item? Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Boyke,
Yes.
Counselor Cart,
Yes.
Counselor White,
Yes,
Counselor Bacallo,
Aye.
Supervisor Meyer.
Yes, item is adopted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jonathan?
Before I read this, I'd just like to amend the first line to read Lakeshore Road instead of Lakeshore Drive. As far as the addresses go, I think it's only 6477 subsequent to the subdivision, but I'll read both street numbers. Whereas Trey J. Loso LLC is a reported owner and developer of land located at 6475 and 6477 Lakeshore Road, tax map number 086.02-25.1. And whereas developer plans to build a large-scale luxury apartment complex on the land, which has been variously described as luxury apartments, high-end, and a gated community, with rents anticipated to be as high as $1,800 per month per unit. And whereas developer recently applied to the Onondaga County Industrial Development Agency, OCEDA, for a payment in lieu of taxes agreement, pilot, and other tax exemption benefits seeking a total of approximately $6.1 million in exemptions from property, sales, and mortgage recording taxes. And Whereas in response to community objections in 2016, OCEDA approved strict guidelines with respect to applications for pilot and other tax reduction benefits requested for residential projects as opposed to actual industrial development initiatives, including apartment development. The town board now formally objects to and opposes the granting of any requested tax breaks for the proposed luxury apartment project based on OCEDA's own expressed evaluation criteria as follows. And whereas the first criterion asks if the project will be built in a blighted area. The board answers that question in the negative, as the Lakeshore Road area along Oneida Lake is clearly not blighted. And whereas the second criterion asks if the project fulfills an unmet need in the area. The board answers that question in the negative, as there are many residential alternatives available in the town of Cicero and surrounding areas. And whereas the third criterion asks if there is a market study documenting demand for such housing. The board answers that question in the negative, as it is not aware of any such study and the high-end nature of the project does not address need. And whereas the fourth criterion asks if local officials support the pilot and other tax breaks. The board answers that question in the negative, as it is not aware of any such study or correction, as it believes in fairness, that developers should pay the proper and appropriate share of taxes to be assessed, and that the taxpayers of the town of Cicero should not be forced to help finance the proposed project. And whereas the fifth criterion asks if the project is needed infill in an already populated area. The board answers that question in the negative, as there is no credible demonstration of need and the request does not involve an extension of existing tax benefits. And whereas the sixth criterion asks if the project provides walkability to village centers. The board answers that question in the negative, as the project is located on Oneida Lake, far from village centers. And whereas the seventh and final criterion asks if the project requires additional county-provided infrastructure to service the project. The board answers that question in the affirmative, as it believes the project will add significant additional sewage and associated BOD concentrations to an already stressed sewage treatment system, along with other municipally funded services. It is improper and unfair to ask Cicero taxpayers to bear the burden of additional infrastructure costs. And accordingly, the town board of Cicero hereby finds and determines that the granting of a pilot and/or other tax reductions for this residential project would be wholly inappropriate, unfair, and improper. Granting tax breaks for this residential project would negatively impact the town taxpayers by depriving them of needed tax revenue to offset the burden of the project on roads, sewers, traffic, and other public infrastructure. The board specifically finds that there is no logical or rational justification for providing any or all of the requested tax exemptions for a luxury apartment complex that serves no demonstrable need and is not anticipated to create or support new permanent jobs in the area. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board of Cicero formally opposes developers' requests for tax reduction benefits, and be it further resolved that this resolution, accompanied by a cover letter further expressing the position of the town board, shall be sent to the chairperson and members of the OCEDA board on or before April 1st, 2021.
Second.
Second, Mr. Pacalo, discussion on the item? Any comments at all? Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Boyke,
Yes.
Counselor Carr,
Yes.
Counselor White,
Yes.
Counselor Bacallo,
Aye.
Supervisor Meyer.
Yes, item is adopted. Thank you. Nancy, number 9.
Approve the purchase of 2022 Ford F-450 Super Duty two-wheel drive cab chassis with dump body. Whereas the Highway Department needs to replace number 15, a 2008 F-550 with dump. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board approves the purchase of the 2022 F-450 Ford dump from DeLacy Ford, Inc. State contract number PC 68978 in the amount of $56,567. Budget code DB 51302.
Second.
Ms. Boyke, discussion on number 9. Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Boyke,
Yes.
Counselor Carr,
Yes.
Counselor White,
Yes.
Bacallo,
Aye.
Supervisor Meyer.
Yes, item is adopted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Somebody say something? Oh, he said thank you. Authorize the advertisement for bids for the Consolidated Sewer District, Brewerton WWTP Service Area Sewer Improvements, Contract Number 4. Just to clarify, WWPT or TP rather is wastewater treatment plant. I know that some people have asked for that clarification. Whereas the town has been awarded state and county funding totaling $342,500. And whereas the contract documents are complete and have been reviewed and approved by the funding agencies, now therefore be it resolved that the town board authorizes the advertisement for sealed bids for the Consolidated Sewer District Brewerton WWTP Service Area Sewer Improvements, Contract Number 4. Sealed bids are to be received at the office of the town clerk until 11 o'clock a.m. on April 29th, 2021.
Need a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Carp. Discussion on number 10. Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Blaney,
Yes.
Counselor Carr,
Yes.
Counselor White,
Yes.
Counselor Bacallo,
Aye.
Supervisor Meyer.
Yes, item is adopted. Thank you.
Approve
Judy?
payment to DE Tiroli for emergency sewer repair. Whereas OCD WEP Onondaga County Department of Environment Protection determined the lateral at 8946 Beach Road had broken, and whereas the town engineer called DE Tiroli, the town's sewer repair contractor, to fix the lateral. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board approve the payment of $8,182.81 to DE Tiroli for work performed on March 3rd, 2021 to repair the lateral at 8946 Beach Road, budget code SS 81201997.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bacallo. Discussion on the item. Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Blaney,
Yes.
Counselor Carr,
Yes.
Counselor White,
Yes.
Counselor Bacallo,
Aye.
Supervisor Meyer.
Yes, item is adopted. Thank you. Nancy?
Approve increased payment to DE Tiroli for emergency sanitary sewer manhole replacement at McKinley Road and Haven Circle. Whereas at the February 24th, 2021, the town board was presented with and approved an estimated cost of $61,000 for the aforementioned manhole replacement, and whereas the project was more complicated and took more time than anticipated. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board approve the payment of $92,589.58 to DE Tiroli for work performed on February 22nd through March 5th, 2021. Budget code SS 812041997.
Second.
Yeah, Ms. Wakey. Did you want to add any of that? That was, I think, right outside the front door, right?
Pretty much, yeah, we were able to watch the whole process go through.
Any questions? Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Blaney,
Yes.
Counselor Carr,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Counselor Bacallo,
Aye.
Supervisor Meyer.
Yes, item is adopted. Thank you. Mike, number 13.
Authorize to bid and approve. Hey, why is this? Is that better? There we go. Authorize to bid and approve to set bid date for improvements to the Cicero Senior Center through the Community Development Grant. Whereas the town has received a community development grant through Onondaga County for various facility and site improvements to the senior center. And whereas the town needs to request formal bids for the project pursuant to applicable provisions in the general municipal law and town procurement policy. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board approves the bid specifications prepared by Terry Horst Landscape Architecture, PC, and that they are authorized to go out to bid. The bid submittals shall be submitted to the town clerk by April 20th, 2021 at 10 a.m.
Second.
Ms. Wakey. Discussion on the item. Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Blaney,
Yes.
Counselor Carr,
Yes.
Counselor White,
Yes.
Counselor Bacallo,
Aye.
Supervisor Meyer.
Yes, item is adopted. Thank you. Okay, number 14, as all of you know, the Syracuse Airport is at the southern end of the town of Cicero, and it plays a very important role as far as commerce and employment in the area. I was trying to get together a informational brief by them. Unfortunately, we weren't able to schedule it for tonight, so it's going to be rescheduled for a meeting in April. Next item, under the discussion section, I have a couple of items. The first item is approved tentative agreement with Cicero PBA, whereas the town of Cicero and the Cicero PBA are parties to a collective bargaining agreement which expired on December 31st, 2015, and an interest arbitration award for the period of January 1st, 2016 through December 31st, 2017. And whereas the parties have reached an agreement on the terms for a successor agreement for the period of January 1, 2018 through December 31st, 2022, now therefore be resolved. The tentative agreement between the town of Cicero and the Cicero PBA is hereby approved, and the supervisor is authorized to execute the agreement.
Second.
Mr. Carp, discussion on the item?
I'd just like to thank everyone involved in the negotiating process. We can't comment on it yet until the board approves it, but I'd like to thank everybody involved in the negotiating process. It was a long haul, but I think we came out with a deal that was fair for both sides.
Further discussion on this item? Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Boyke,
Yes.
Counselor Carr,
Yes.
Counselor White,
yes,
Counselor Vaccaro,
Aye.
Supervisor Meyer.
Yes, item is adopted. Thank you.
I'd just like to make a quick comment on that.
I'm sorry.
Sir, I'd just like to make a quick comment on that.
Right, I'll get you just a second. I'd just like to make sure that everyone recognizes the extensive amount of work that Councilor Carr put in on this, needs to be recognized.
Thank you, Supervisor
Steve?
Meyer.
Yeah, I also would like to thank Mr. Jermaine and especially Councilman Carp, who spent countless hours on his negotiations. His tireless efforts and open lines of communications with the PBA resulted in a successful contract, and it was long overdue. So thank you very much, Mr. Jermaine and Mr. Carp.
Thank you, Chief.
Further comments on the item? Okay, we'll go to the next item. Occasionally, we do have some disagreements on some values on some assessments and some properties. I have a resolution authorizing the settlement of New York State Supreme Court tax certiorari action, Walmart versus Town of Cicero, whereas Walmart Real Estate Trust number 5342 filed a certiorari to reduce the assessment at tax map 0440117.2. Now therefore be resolved, authorizing the settlement of the New York State Supreme Court certiorari action index number, long number here, 2017 E as in Edward, F Frank 2957 et al., titled the Walmart Estate Trust number 5242 versus Town of Cicero, affecting tax map number 0440117.2 for the property located at 8060 Brewerton Road, reducing the assessment from $12 million fair market value for the year 2021 with a full waiver of refunds and interest for the tax years 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and a full waiver of statutory interest by the petitioner for all past years with the RPTL 727 applied in accordance with the terms and conditions as stated, and authorizing the supervisor and town attorney to execute any and all documents necessary to complete this matter.
Second.
Second, Mr. Vaccaro. Discussion on this item. Clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Boyke,
Yes.
Counselor Carr,
Yes.
Counselor White,
yes,
Counselor Vaccaro,
Aye.
Supervisor Meyer.
Yes, item is adopted. Thank you. Any other items from the board members?
I believe Mr. Woznicka has something for discussion, Mr. Supervisor.
Okay.
Mr. Supervisor, you made a comment that when you speak to the state DOT, they listen. Last year, we petitioned them to reduce the speed limit out here in front of the garage, and they refused. We've had numerous close calls when a truck starts to pull out, there's nothing coming, and by the time they get out on 31, there's a car right on their tail. And we've been noted numerous hand gestures from people passing on a double solid line getting mad at us. There's no cars when we pull out, but all of a sudden at 55, they're doing 65 and they're on top of us. Could you petition them again and maybe get the speed limit reduced out in front of the highway garage?
Certainly. In the meantime, I believe, Chris, they are modifying the speed sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send all these changes to you and to the police department and to the clerk. So we get an opportunity to get those with the new signs, whatever they're going to be. And then I will certainly do a follow-up for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Thank you
Yep.
very much. Okay,
Uh,
Mike, did you have something? Okay. Any other board members have any items?
Mr. Supervisor, could we see the list also?
I'm sorry, say again, please.
Could we see the speed limit information also?
Absolutely. Any of the board members want to, if you just give me, raise your hand and I'll make sure that goes out to you.
Yeah, I'd like it
Okay,
too, please.
Nancy? Anybody
I think that's
else?
everybody.
Mike, okay? That's it? Okay,
So funny. We're like right in the room and then he's looking at the screen.
right, right.
It's just really funny.
Judy? Okay. That's it, 3?
Yeah, did you get me?
Okay,
It was all of us.
we got them. We'll get them all out. Make it easy.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay, any other items for the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn and call.
So
a voice
moved.
vote.
I have
Oh.
one thing.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm sorry, Tracy.
I would just like to announce and invite the town board, the town employees, the Cicero community to participate in the 2021 Earth Day, Saturday, April 24th. And of course, we have to use our masks and our personal protective equipment is required. If you're unable to meet us at the highway garage on that Saturday, then, you can pick up your area and bring it to the highway department. I did receive a letter from Oak Grove. They said that COVID put a pause on Earth Day in 2020, but in 2019, 300 groups, that's 6,300 plus volunteers collected more than 60,600 pounds of litter. We need your help to show we have pride in our public spaces. And they encourage residents to sign up at www.ocrra.org. And in the past years, they mentioned that the town of Cicero has played a crucial role in making this huge cleanup effort happen. And I just wanted to thank everybody in advance, our highway department and our volunteers that make this event such a success every year. And with everyone's help, we can do it. So thank you so much and have a nice evening.
Okay, thank you, Tracy, for the information.